All right. Hello, once again, my friend, to the next episode of the Fit at Home podcast, where when it comes to getting in the best shape of your life, there's no place like home. As always, I'm Matt Schifferly from the Red Delta Project. With me, as always, as well, is Al Painter. Here we've got some practical tips to help you improve your home fitness lifestyle in the next 7 days. Al, how's it going?
It's going great. And like we were talking about prior to, people, Godzilla versus Kong, put it on your watch list. Oh, it is epic. Two Titans, just down goes Frazier, the Thriller in Manila. For those of you who I just dated myself and know who that was, just pounding the stuffing out of each other. If you've seen Elf, the scene in Elf where Buddy and the fake Santa Claus are fighting in the toy store and they're knocking down all the Lego buildings, it's that. And just, oh my God, it makes what happened to New York in the Avengers with all the destruction seem like clean up on aisle 6, please. I mean, it is great. And how it actually translates over to fitness, I'm going to bring this full circle, people.
Oh,
Trust
boy.
me. Trust me. I'm doing this. The movements of the monsters when they fought were perfectly articulated from a grounded position. I'm getting all nerdified here, kids. Grounded position with rotational hip pump, pulling on the left to punch on the right. Oh my God. And then just the boom. Oh, yes. Watch Kong and Godzilla duke it out, and then Mecha Godzilla for just good measure. And watch it.
So what kind of, like, for summer blockbusters and stuff, what would you rate as like the all-time best summer, one, the best summer blockbuster, and two, the best like summer of blockbusters that you experienced out?
Oh gosh. Summer of blockbusters, it would have to be the year, and I know this movie got panned, but again, since I'm an uber comic nerd, I loved it. Green Lantern came out. The original Captain America came out. I think there was a Transformers movie that came out.
Oh yeah, that was a good summer. I think
2011.
Dead Man's Chest came out that summer.
Yeah, right.
If I'm not mistaken. Like I remember seeing the movie poster for that, and I get all excited because I like those movies too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was a big summer. Yeah. God, that was old though. We're dating ourselves.
Yeah, I know, right? And then as far as blockbuster goes, oh gosh, I'm gonna have to go with. Oh, let's see here. What do I watch all the time? Let's see. You know what? I'm gonna date myself once again, but again, it's one of my favorite movies of all time. And qualifying, I am a nerd. The 1989 Batman movie by Tim Burton, because the absolute worldwide buzz with that thing exploded without the interwebs, right? I mean, you could not go anywhere without knowing that movie was coming out. And I remember the people going nuts that, oh, Mr. Mom is going to be Batman. No,
you know, good job. Did all right.
Yeah. I mean, it was a good film, man. I love the Batmobile there.
Yep.
I think Jack was good. I don't think it's a quintessential portrayal of the Joker, but it was pretty good. Yeah. It was a fun film. I mean, I could watch that. I start almost once a month. I watch it, because I'm a nerd. But so that's my
one of the better Batmans when you consider what they had to work with for the time,
right?
Like where CGI was, where technology was, the acting pool they had and stuff. I think they pulled off a really good film for what they had. Like we can compare it to the more modern stuff and say, oh, it wasn't as good. It's like, yeah, but look at all the great stuff that we've got to work with now. We got a much bigger toy box, and considering what they had, they did a lot. Tim Burton really pulled it together, I thought.
Well, without that movie, you don't get Batman the Animated Series, which was epic. I mean, Kevin Conroy's a quintessential portrayal of the Dark Knight, let's be honest. Yeah. And then if you don't get Batman the Animated Series, you realistically don't get Spider-Man, right? The original Tobey Maguire one.
Yeah.
And then all of the launching into the superhero genre that started. And then you don't get Christopher Nolan, and you don't get The Dark Knight, which is an epic superhero film.
All of that
right?
stuff. It's a domino effect. Even the worst movies and stuff that come out build off of something to make something better later on.
Yeah.
And like you said, wrapping it all back around to fitness and stuff, like even your worst workouts still are bricks that are building your foundation. Like you don't need good stuff all the time to build something epic later on. Even the stuff that isn't working very well for you today, 10 years from now, 5 years, hell, 6 weeks from now, you could look back on it and be, well, I thought it sucked at the time, but considering I did what I could with what I had, and it helped me establish whatever else thing, like the habit of getting to the gym, the habit of keeping my arms in on push-ups or whatever it was. That's why I'm having a great workout now, because I had that bad workout or the bad week or whatever earlier on. So it still has a lot of carryover benefit, even if there's nothing that we see in the immediate time, or even if we look back and say, oh, that probably was bad, I regret that and stuff. No, you still took that and built the foundation for your progress later on. So don't throw that stuff away. It's not trivial.
Right. I agree, man. I agree 100%.
Very good. So, okay. I guess we should talk about fitness then instead of the movies, because it is April 1st. The summer of blockbusters is coming on up. Hopefully we'll be able to get back into movie theaters fairly soon here. I mean, yeah, releases on Netflix and stuff are great, but man, there's nothing like just going to the theater and
I'm telling you,
and stuff and the full experience,
right?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, a good 3D movie. I mean, Avatar is probably still the best 3D movie I've ever seen. Remember that with the blue people?
I'll second you on that one. Harold and Kumar Save Christmas are just because they make fun of the whole thing. They're like, really 3D? We're doing the 3D thing in this movie, and they're like, yep. And I'm like, oh god.
Okay.
And I thought it wasn't so much the use of the 3D technology; it was the fact that they just kept referring to it and making it apparent. And it's like, okay, let's really exploit the hell out of this and make it a joke. And that one gets my vote.
Junior mints taste better at a theater. A hot dog tastes better at a theater. It's like when you're in Mexico, a warm Pacifico with lime tastes better down there than a warm Pacifico with lime up here. Is kind of like,
100%.
Right.
So anyway, let's get into our practical tips and takeaways for the week. So this is the stuff that's going to help you improve your health and fitness for the next 7 days and beyond. So workout tips. Number one workout tip. Al, go.
My number one workout tip is to add an exercise for every lap or round that you do, right? So if you're vertically loading your workouts, vertical being set 1, 2, 3, 4, back to the top, 1, 2, 3, 4, back to the top kind of thing, okay? So you could start off with a single leg squat as your A exercise, right? And then round 2, you do your A exercise, but you add a B exercise. So maybe it's push-ups. Then round 3, you go back single leg squats, push-ups, and then maybe you add a suspension strap row, right? And then for round 4, it's single leg squat, push-up, row, right? And then, I don't know, you want to throw in some bands, you do a power off press or something. And by the time you get to the power off press, your glutes are cooked because they've been used 4 times already, and especially, or I'm sorry, 3 times already, especially with the other exercise that you've cooked in. And there's a little bit of old school bro science pre-fatigue in there. So when you get to the power off press at the end, your arms are a little tired from the rowing and the pushing already. And then you throw in that rotational, anti-rotation lateral core. Boom, chef's kiss, mic drop, boom, done.
Wow. I love those workouts. It makes them fun and playful. It kind of gamifies them a little bit. And it's also a really good way to work in a lot of work where it doesn't seem like it's that much. A good example of this, of course, around Christmas time, everybody does the 12 days of Christmas kind of workouts where you do 1 rep of one exercise. Then you do 2 reps of a second exercise and you build it up. And at first you look at it and it's like, oh, it's not that big a deal and stuff. But you go through the whole thing and it just cooks you. It smokes you, and you can build it towards any sort of conditioning or strength aspect that you like. But it is a fun way to break out of the 3 sets of 10, go through the same routine as always and stuff. It is a really good way to add some extra spice and make the workouts feel fresh and alive again. Fantastic tip, Al. I like that a lot.
Yeah. My clients hate it with a passion too, especially if you're doing, because I'll use it for single leg isometrics, which they loathe, right? But we don't have heavy weights. So that time under tension is your heavy weight, your heavy load, and you can get the same thing done because time under tension is time under tension. Sure. And then, you're cooking one to fry the other, and it's just beautiful.
Fantastic. My tip of the week is a little bit more about, as I always say, we work with the body rather than against the body. And this tip is to add rotation, particularly with upper body exercises, at every turn that you can. So a lot of times when we get locked into a single hand position, we're on a machine or a barbell or something, and we keep our hand orientation the same for what we're doing, we're missing out on a lot of the benefits that come with rotation. So you can do rotation with dumbbells are always possible, suspension straps and gymnastics rings, bands, anything that allows your hand to rotate 180 degrees or even more. Because if you look at the anatomy of the muscular system, muscles don't usually run in straight lines along the body. They're not straight up and down or in and out. They usually have some sort of a twist to them in their insertion and their origin points, kind of like wrapping around the stripe around a candy cane there. Count how many Christmas references we're going to use in today's episode, folks. So the muscles kind of wrap around the body. They don't just run up and down like steel cables. So when we use rotation, what we do is we essentially allow the muscles to work in more of an ergonomic way of applying tension through the body rather than letting it get locked up into the joints. So your joints feel better, your muscles feel a lot better. There's a lot less stress in your body as a whole, but there's a lot more work being done by your muscles. It feels alive. It feels a lot more of a natural movement. And don't worry too much like how much do I rotate and when do I rotate? Play with it. You can't really mess this stuff up. Play with starting with an overhand position to an underhand position and then reverse it and see how that feels. And it's one of these things that's just an element you can employ in almost any upper body exercise and even lower body to some degree, although it gets a little more difficult. But it really helps to create a lot more of that whole work with the body rather than against it sort of mentality. So rotation of the hands, every chance that you can for every exercise, you're going to feel a lot better and get more from every exercise as well.
Well, there's this guy, he has another podcast that he cheats on this one with. And at one point I saw one of his episodes and he was talking about arm torque, right? And that turned out to be a game changer for a friend of mine.
A friend of mine. Yeah.
A friend. He likes Batman movies. Mm-hmm. And it was great because it allowed my friend to who really likes Christmas, especially the Christmas with the Joker, Batman animated series, Christmas reference. It allows me to drop drop the shoulder heads down to really get into the lat. And I find that I can get into the serratus a lot more in that low pec without actually having to get into low pec serratus specific exercises. So it's good stuff.
Absolutely. Very good. All right. So moving on to our dietary tips. We got our workouts covered here, dietary tips, because diet is oftentimes made far more complicated and difficult than it needs to be. So these tips are about making things a lot more simple and streamlined and effective at the same time. So Al, what's your tip of the day for us?
Tip of the day for the folks listening here is to put lemon in your water. Super simple, very simple. It can help you with digestion. It's a good source of vitamin C. It can help with your pH balance, where you always want to make sure your pH levels, the acidity in your body, are always balanced as possible. And it's a good source of potassium and magnesium. And if you like those tips, I sent a note to Matt. There's another link to an article, and it's 16 health benefits of drinking lemon water from foodmatters.com. So that'll be in the show notes for you folks. So you can go in there and check it out and get some more. I like it because I drink more water when I have the lemon in there as well. So it's nice.
Yeah. It's really easy too. Like I just do the squeezed lemon juice that you get at the grocery store. It's a lot more efficient than cutting up a bunch of lemons and then half of it goes bad and stuff. And so I do that as well. But it really does make quite a difference just in the palatability of the water, the sensation of thirst quenching. I personally recommend for those who go outside and like ride bikes, hikes and stuff, put that stuff in your water bottle It makes such a difference when you're hot, you're tired, especially for endurance stuff, when your body's at that highly stressed state. You've been hiking for 2 hours or on a long bike ride. The ability to consume food and stuff just decreases. Like, you don't have a taste for anything. You don't really feel like eating anything heavy. That lemon water is a real game changer. It just makes the water so much more palatable. And you end up, like you said, drinking a little bit more, and it's more beneficial for you. It's super simple too. Just put it in, there you go.
Yep.
So my strategy here is highlighting a bit of a mistake that I often see people making lots of times when it comes to trying to lose weight, but also when people are like, I'm going to start eating healthy, is they'll make the mistake of employing just one dietary strategy. Like, I'll ask them, so what are you doing to eat healthier? And they'll say like, oh, I'm cutting way back on sugar, or I stopped eating meat, or I gave up dairy. I'm like, okay, hope that's working for you. But what else is out there? What more can you do beyond that? Because sometimes people will try one strategy and they'll get so far with it and they'll do a little bit of something. And they're like, it didn't work. And they'll abandon that strategy and they'll go to a next strategy. And they just kind of leapfrog back and forth. And the fact of the matter is, no single one strategy is probably going to do all that much for you in the big, long scheme of things, because diet's complicated. There's a lot of pieces to the puzzle. There's a whole lot of influences going on. So when you pick one piece and focus entirely on that one part, it's kind of like trying to build a good sports team, like a good football team, and say, all right, we're going to have a kick butt quarterback. That's great. The rest of the team can be awful. And then, well, we're not winning. Okay, forget the quarterback. We don't need a good quarterback. Let's get a good running back. Okay, we got a good running back, our running game improved, but secondary is terrible. Okay, forget the running back. We don't need a good running back. And so you're only trying to improve one thing, but you need the whole team together. So when it comes to improving your diet, yes, pick one thing that you're going to improve on. Let's say getting protein at each meal or more vegetables and stuff, as we've talked about. Then once you've got that habit kind of established, then do another one on top of that and compound these habits on top. Don't just do one thing at a time. Have many things working for you. And again, that's why we have these tips in these videos is, yeah, you look at these single tips and some of you are going to say, well, will this really work? Or is this going to be effective? It's like, no. Just one thing isn't going to do much. But by now we've been doing this podcast for like 2.5 months or so. By now these habits should be compounding on each other to a much bigger collective influence that's far more potent and a lot easier to stick to than any one single strategy ever would be. So here's a tip: is multiple influences. Don't rely on just one strategy for your overall dietary success.
There it is. Yeah. And way to bring in the football knowledge with the draft pending, by the way. The Niners don't draft a good quarterback at number 3. It's going to shatter my world.
Really? They're not going to hang on to Garoppolo there? Or
I think the plan is to get somebody in, let him get some seasoning, and then ship him off. Because the guy, what was the stat? Was it in The Athletic or somewhere? I saw that he's only getting paid to play in 60% of the games. And if you're an owner of a team, you're paying a guy $1 zillion to throw a football. You'll want him playing even 61% of the games. So,
that's a lot of salary cap you can open up too, by letting them go too. Yeah. Buffalo's making similar moves like that. They had a couple of guys who were pretty high end price go as well. But for the most part, they're keeping the team together. So I'm really hoping they can make a good run for another everybody wants to win the Super Bowl, but a good playoff run again. Last year, they went further than anybody I think was anticipating. So we're kind of like, come on, let's see if we can't do it again.
Yeah, I'm ready for Patrick Mahomes to be watching the Super Bowl at home. The guy is an incredible quarterback, and he's reshaped the position for futures of eons of quarterback play. And the guy is amazing. I'm ready for him to watch the red and gold. I'd be good with the Buffalo 49ers Super Bowl. Why not?
Dude, that would be a great Super Bowl. That would be outstanding. And I guess something like Chris Berman every year, he's always like Buffalo and 49ers Super Bowl time. Buffalo and 49ers, like every year he makes that prediction. And so that would be awesome. I would love to see that. But anyway, moving on, because we could talk football forever here. So our last segment here is a resource that can help you in your health and fitness, some tool or something that will be of use for you for the next 7 days. Al, what do you got for us?
I have a fitness tip. I love the Angles 90 handles. They are the orange kind of, for lack of a better analogy for folks listening at home, they kind of look like a banana shaped handle. Yeah. And I had some issues on the forearm right inside there that golfer's elbow, even though I don't play golf. Why is that? Tennis players got the elbow, runners got the knee, swimmers got the shoulder, and golfers got the elbow too. Why not middle-aged 40-plus-year-old dad elbow, right? Yeah. Give me some props, right?
That's the ankle. Every time you step on a Lego, you get the middle-aged dad Lego ankle.
The Lego landmines are just the absolute worst, brutal. Man.
Absolutely brutal.
Dude, right? And then you hear that noise of the Lego container. It's called the messy noise getting dumped out. Yep. And you know that, oh God, here we go. Yep. Anyway,
well, that goes along with the rotation 90. Tip that I gave earlier.
Yeah, exactly.
Like the whole point of those is they allow rotation of the hand and the arm and the torquing and everything when you're doing exercises. So if you've ever thought to yourself, oh, I can't do this exercise, or this exercise hurts my elbows or wrists or something, give something like that a serious try, because it's amazing what happens when you add that rotation with those angle 90s and stuff. It just, the force just goes right through the joints and rather than into the joints. And I can't tell you how many people they put that rotation in and they're like, I thought I'd never be able to do pull-ups again or whatever. Now I'm cranking them out better than ever before.
Yeah.
Those angle 90s out?
I do. I love them. It allowed me, because of the contour of the handle, I could just wrap my pinky around it better and just smash the bejesus out of the handle with my pinky, which just did that irradiation, bam, right up into the arm. More shoulder activation, better lat activation, better scapular retraction activation. On the pushing motions, the shoulders were a little bit better. It's a wee bit uncomfortable with the strap, the way it attaches to the handle to push. But once you get over that, it's a really good tool. I would definitely recommend it.
It's funny you mentioned that, because I was just looking at that the other day going like, oh, this might be something fun to explore. So now I'll get back on and order a pair.
There you go.
All right. And my tip of the week here, or my resource of the week, this is April 1st. So I have just issued the latest release of my Grind Style Calisthenics workout program. So this is month 4 on the Red Delta Project YouTube channel. And month 4 is brand new out with some brand new exercises, specifically designed to target some of the thicker muscles in the torso, the pectorals, and the lats in particular. These are often areas that people have trouble building up with calisthenics or in general. So the exercises I've included with that. So the link down below, as always, folks, links down below to all of the things we're referencing. But month 4 of the Grind Style Calisthenics program, of course, there's down below the link to the Grind Style Calisthenics book that I've written on Amazon, as well if you want kind of the bird's eye view of the program in general and why it works and how it helps you overcome various weaknesses and things that have been holding you back. But month 4 is now available. It's free, and the PDFs that accompany it are a free download as well. So there's my resource of the week. Go check it out. Again, links are down below. All right, Al, so parting words of advice. What do you got for us?
I'm going to go back to the earlier portion of the podcast, Kong versus Godzilla. People, give an hour and 53 minutes of your life. Check it out. Enjoy it. Make your popcorn, grab your Junior Mints, get a hot dog, get whatever it is you want to drink, and just sit there and be entertained. That's the biggest part of it. The entertainment factor, it was a good escape. Let my brain just go relax a little bit there, and just got a little kid action going there. Just like, oh, and go watch it. Go see it.
Sometimes you just got to indulge in those parts of what you love to do. You know, whether you call it a guilty pleasure or just being a little bit lazy. It is part of the recovery process of us as humans in general. You can't just meditate all the time and go for walks in nature. Sometimes you just have to do those things that just make you feel good and be like, all right, that was a great Saturday afternoon of just kind of being indulging in my interests and stuff. And that really goes a long way in helping you recover, not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, and then you can get right back to work right on afterwards. So I'm going to leave it on there, folks. I'll talk to you next week. Till then, this is Matt Tripoli and Al Painter, reminding you to stay strong and lead by example.